This is the story of Grace. Grace had always been a hard worker. She loved her job and was passionate about making a difference in the world. However, lately, she felt like she was swimming upstream, fighting against a strong current that was pushing her back. She had taken on more responsibilities at work, and the demands on her time and energy were starting to take their toll. Grace was starting to feel exhausted and frustrated. She was working long hours, skipping meals, and sacrificing time with her family and friends. She knew that something had to give, but she wasn't sure what. One day, while she was out for a run, Grace saw a group of ducks swimming upstream in a river. They were making slow but steady progress against the current. She watched them for a while and realized that they weren't fighting the current but rather working with it. Inspired by this, she decided to try a different approach. Instead of trying to push against the current, she decided to work with it. She started to prioritize her tasks and delegate where she could. She set effective boundaries around her work hours, making sure to take breaks. She also made sure to make time for her family and friends. At first, it was difficult to let go of the need to control everything and to trust others to take on tasks. But as she let go, Grace found that she had more energy and more focus. She was able to work smarter and make progress without exhausting herself. She learned that burnout was like trying to swim upstream against a strong current. You cannot fight it or ignore it, but rather need to work with it. Burnout is a common experience for many of us, and it can happen to anyone, regardless of their job or industry. It's that feeling of chronic stress and exhaustion that makes it hard to get out of bed in the morning and even harder to focus on the work during the day. So, what does burnout at work actually look like? Here are a few scenarios to help you identify if you might be experiencing burnout. The snooze button is your best friend. You used to be a morning person, but now the thought of getting out of bed and facing another day at work makes you hit the snooze button at least 5 times before you finally drag yourself out of bed. You're not motivated anymore. You used to be excited about your work and have a real passion for what you do. Now you're just going through the motions and your work has lost its meaning. You're feeling stressed out all the time. You're always on edge, and even the smallest thing can trigger you. You're constantly worried about deadlines, your workload, and what your boss thinks of you. It's possible that you're making mistakes. You used to be on top of your game, but now you're making silly mistakes that you know you wouldn't have made before. You're possibly forgetting things. You're feeling physically and emotionally drained. You're tired all the time, and you can't seem to shake the feeling of exhaustion. You're also feeling emotionally drained and you don't have the energy to deal with anything outside of work. If any of these scenarios sound familiar to you, then it's highly possible that you are experiencing a burnout. But don't worry, there are ways to combat this and get back to feeling like your old self again. One way to prevent burnout is to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, both physically and mentally. This means getting enough sleep, eating a healthy diet, and making time for exercise and relaxation, meditation even. It's also important to set boundaries between your work and personal life so you're not constantly on the clock. Another way to combat burnout is to find ways to rekindle your passion for your specific work area. This could mean taking on a new project or learning a new skill that excites you. It is important to find meaning and purpose in what you do so you can feel fulfilled and stay motivated. Remember, burnout is a real issue that can have serious consequences if it is left unchecked. But by taking care of yourself and finding ways to reignite your passion for work, you can prevent burnout and thrive in your career. If you need help, reach out to me at srhybridtherapy.com.